today we're talking all about manipulation. I think about a week or so ago, I did a video talking about how to sort of recognize signs of manipulation in your marriage and what manipulation might look like. And I did promise that I would come back and tell you guys how to deal with a manipulative spouse.
We'll just keep on praising him, raise him up. Oh yeah, you see people taking their place in your love. Oh yeah, as you keep your light in our lives from above. Oh yeah, you just spark the fire.
Hey guys, how are you doing? I hope you've had a great day. My name's Daisy. This is a Marriage for Real video. A manipulator is somebody who will use emotional, psychological control games to try and get you to behave in a way or see things their way, to get you to basically do what they want to do. If the manipulation is the sort of typical things that we tend to see, it's usually because you have taught this person that they can use this sort of control with you. People treat us the way that we allow them to treat us. So if, for example, you have always succumbed to your spouse throwing a fit, shouting and screaming, and every time they do that, you respond, that's how they're always going to try and get their own way with you. Some of them are not even trying to manipulate us. They don't even realize that that's what they're doing. But because we have taught them that that is the best way to get what they want, and people will do that. That is the best way to get you on their side. That is the best way to change your perception. That's the best way to change your ideas and the decision that you've made. That's the best way to basically control you. That is what they are going to do. The first thing you need to do is recognize and look within yourself. You know me, I'm very big into starting with you. You being the change you want to see. So you need to first of all check yourself and be like, okay, was I the person that kind of taught my spouse that this behavior was okay? Was I the person that taught my spouse that if they don't speak to me for a few days, I was always going to give in? Was I the person that taught my spouse that if they threaten me, that I would always succumb to that? Then let me be honest and recognize that I sort of taught this behavior. I allowed this person to treat me this way. Now, the second thing that you need to do, let me bring out my book, is, right, here's the thing. You need to know your worth. Why do I say that? Because a lot of the times a manipulator will put you down. That's one manipulative tool that is always being used, putting you down. Who else would want you? If I leave you, nobody else will come for you. You are this, you are that. You are nothing without me. Listen, guys, you can't be receiving all those words and believing them. And if your spouse, to try and control you, to try and make you feel bad, to try and force you to do something you don't want to do, is going to go as low as to tell you, well, you know what, if I leave you, nobody will want you. Who are you? You're not intelligent enough. You're not smart enough. You're not beautiful enough. You're not good enough. You need to know the tricks of a manipulator and don't take those words on. You need to know your worth. You need to put value in yourself. Because the moment, even if this person doesn't mean those words, you know, a lot of us will say stuff in anger. They're saying it because they know every time they say something like that to you, that is the very thing that's going to break you. You taught them that. They know that. And so that's why that's their default. You'll be asking yourself, why is it every time we get into an argument and I don't agree with you, or I don't want to do it your way, or I don't want to go down your path, you will say things like this? Well, they will say things like this because they know that that is the thing that always works with you. But from henceforth, that is not going to work with you anymore, because you are going to say to yourself, I know the tricks of a manipulator. I know that you're saying this to manipulate me. I know my worth. I know that they are lies, and I am not going to respond. The third one is the ability to say no. Say no. It's okay. You don't have to agree. And I'm saying this especially to wives as well. Being a good wife, even being submissive, doesn't mean that you are going to say yes to every single request. Be strong enough to say no, I'm not going to go there with you. I'm not going to do that with you. I'm not going to jeopardize that because of you. I'm not going to risk that because of you. I'm not going to lower myself to that because of you. It's okay to say no. And the thing is that when you start to say no, this person will eventually learn that I can't just control this woman. I can't just control this woman, or I can't just control this man. Men, say no to your wives. If there is something that you firmly believe in, if they want to take you down a path that you are strongly against, if you don't believe in what is going on, it's okay to say no. Say no. Do not allow somebody, even your spouse, to manipulate you into a pit. Listen, same with my husband. I was not used to hearing the word no so often. I'll tell you that. And my husband, if he does not agree, he will say no. And I'm looking at him like, what do you mean no? You're saying no to me. And he's like, no, I mean, we can talk it through. We can debate it, but he's not going to be bullied or shouted or cried into submission. Vice versa. If I don't agree, I don't agree. Now we can get to a point where we agree to disagree, or we can discuss it and I can decide without being controlled, without manipulation, that, okay, let's go about it this way. But the moment that there's manipulation, you need to recognize that you have to say no. Nothing will happen. The sky won't crumble. Your house won't fall apart. Nobody will die. This person is just going to have to suck it up. And they can do that. It's fine. All right. The fourth one, don't allow them to use fear. Listen, fear is probably the number one attribute in control. The number one tool of manipulation is fear. Now, if you take away that fear, they have nothing to use against you. They threaten you with that thing, threaten you with leaving. Okay, I'm still here. I love you. I'm your spouse. I'm here. If that is the decision you want to make, you go ahead and make that decision. But I'm here. I'm willing to work it out when we're able to talk about it properly. You've taken away, just in that statement, you have taken the power away from them. I mean, what else can they use? Well, I will report you to your parents. Okay, that's fine. When you report them to my parents, when I speak to them, I'll tell them from my point of view. But if that's an action that you want to take, you take it. You can't control anybody. They can't control you. But you are not going to allow fear, threats, a lot of the time, empty threats. I'm going to leave you. And they'll go for a long walk for an hour or two, and you'll find they're coming back. I used to do that myself. Like, I'm out of here. Go in the car, go and drive for 5 minutes, realize I've got nowhere to go, and come back. Is that just me? Anybody else do that? Please don't let me feel alone. I'm not going to talk to you for a week. Storm up the stairs and sit there. After 30 minutes. Okay, I'm coming back down again. Empty threats. Fear. You trying to use fear to get what you want. It's manipulation. But when you don't react, when you don't respond, when you don't allow that fear to take over, you've taken the power away. Eventually, after time, they will learn that they can't use that with you anymore. It is pointless. They can't manipulate you with that. Oh, here's a big one. Don't meet the drama with drama. Do not meet the drama with drama. You will find that manipulators will like to take something from 0 to 100 fast. The reason why, when they bring in all this drama, it brings all this chaos, and they know that you will just want to calm the situation down, so you will bend. You will bow to their will because it's all high tempo. Now, the thing is, where you get it wrong is that you meet their drama with your drama. They start the drama and you meet them there. That's the mistake. Do what my husband used to do. I would bring the drama, bouncing up and down, woo, 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 ah, crying, this, that, the other. And he would literally sit in silence, sometimes be cheeky enough to get the remote and turn up the TV. He would turn up the TV. Oh my God, I would go absolutely crazy. Not meeting the drama with drama. Eventually the drama has to die. There's no one fueling the fire. If you want to be screaming and pulling out your hair just because I don't agree with you and you cannot sit with me and talk it out, you want to control me with this behavior, you go ahead and do that. As for me, and this is something you can say, which is what my husband said to me, when you finished, we can talk about this, but I'm not responding to that. At the time, I had to learn that that was not going to work. That wasn't going to work with him. And that's what you have to do. If it's even wife with husband, husband starts stomping up and down, calling your names, doing all this, doing all that. You just stay calm. Recognize a manipulator. See what he's doing. He'll calm down eventually. If he wants to do that all night, that's fine. Eventually, time after time, he will realize that this behavior gets him nowhere. Linked with the drama is just don't respond until they are calm. So it's not that because they're doing drama you don't respond and you never respond, because what you've always got to do is almost reward good behavior. You've got to teach them what does work with you. So once it's calmed, you go back and you say, okay, let's try again and talk about this. They'll soon realize that it's not that you want to ignore them. It's not that you're trying to be rude to them. It's not that you don't respect them. You're just not going to respond on that level. But once things are calm and you guys are able to talk, you're happy to talk about it. So always make sure that you come back once things have calmed down and address whatever it is they're trying to address with you. But lastly, consider your needs. I guess this is linked to the saying no. A manipulative person, they're usually quite narcissistic. That word. They usually always want it their way. Now, again, I want to point out that this isn't necessarily because they're a wicked person. It's not necessarily because they're evil and bad to the core. There's just some people who are very, very self-absorbed, and they naturally are that way. And so it's just about recognizing that in them and understanding how to deal with it. That's all. It's just about understanding how to deal with them. So now a narcissistic person will easily and even almost subconsciously use manipulative tools to get you to always feed in them. It's always about them. It's always them. It's them. It's them. It's what they want. It's what they need. It's what they want to do. It's always about them. Yeah. And they'll subconsciously use ways to control you to get that. Now, what you have to do is recognize that actually it's okay to consider you. It's okay to consider your needs. I know we're married and we're taught in marriage to be selfless, to always be looking at what the other person wants. I'm an absolute advocate for that. But I'm not an advocate for that when it means that you completely neglect yourself, number one. And number two, when somebody is using it as a manipulative tool against you. So if you know you're being manipulated to do something that you are very much uncomfortable with, it's okay to consider you and say, actually, this isn't good for me. I want to help you, or I want to do this for you, but this really is not good for me. And so on this occasion, I'm going to consider myself first. Again, this person is going to be shocked. What? I'm used to you always bending to what I want. I'm used to you always doing me. How dare you want to think about yourself? They have to get used to the fact, and even not only get used to the fact, but also they have to learn that while they're always thinking about themselves, they need to think about you too, because you are also important in this relationship. You are important in this relationship. So we're talking about how to deal with a manipulative spouse. And listen, if you're the manipulator, really do take heed and do what you can to adjust. Do what you can. If you're slightly narcissistic or full on, all about you. Do what you can to adjust, because I'm telling you right now, there is no way that you will have a healthy, happy relationship when somebody is feeling like they are controlled. All right, guys, do me a favor, share this video. Also, if you need some counseling, go ahead. I've got a few more dates available in November and December. Oh, well, we're nearly in November now, yeah. So get them booked in, and I will see you very soon in my next video.